change and thought, could I be holding a small fortune right now? I mean, we all know the drill. There's a lot of boring pennies, nickels, and dimes floating around out there. But what if one of them, just one, was worth more than your car? Well, stick with me, because today we're talking about a coin you probably have in your collection right now, the 1972 no-mint mark Washington quarter, and its jaw-dropping market value of up to $1.10 million. Sounds crazy, right? But trust me, we're going to break it down, and by the end of this video, you might just be checking your change a little more closely. Now, I know what you're thinking. Okay, sure. $1 million quarter? That's got to be a scam, or at the very least, a typo on the internet somewhere. And, well, I can't blame you for being skeptical. But bear with me because this story gets better than a Netflix documentary about rare coins. First, let's talk about what makes this 1972 quarter so special. Normally, a standard Washington quarter has a mint mark, right? That tiny little letter under the eagle that tells you where the coin was made. It's either a D for Denver, an S for San Francisco, or no mint mark at all if it was produced in Philadelphia. Now, in 1972, most quarters came out with either a D or S, but some, just a few of them, came out with no mint mark at all. And guess what? That tiny little missing mark makes all the difference. You're at a garage sale, and you pick up a random lamp for $1. But turns out, that lamp was made by a famous artist, worth thousands of dollars. That's kind of like the 1972 no mint mark quarter. Something small, overlooked, and super ordinary that turns out to be worth an absolute fortune. Now, before you start thinking, okay, I'll just run to the nearest coin jar and start looking for one of these, let's get into the details. The rarity of the 1972 no mint mark quarter stems from a minting error. A handful of these coins were struck without the mint mark due to some sort of mistake at the Philadelphia Mint. These coins were not meant to be released, but some slipped through the cracks and made it out into circulation. Coin collectors, particularly those obsessed with minting errors, absolutely love this kind of stuff. The 1972 no mint mark quarter has become something of a holy grail for serious numismatists. That's coin collectors, by the way. A few lucky folks have found one of these coins in their collections or in circulation, and it has sold for prices that'll make your jaw drop, I mean. Can you imagine finding a coin like that just lying around in your change jar? I still remember the time I found a 1943 copper penny, which is worth, like, a small fortune, in a jar of old coins my grandma had left me. I thought it was a joke, but nope, it was legit. I felt like I just found the holy grail of pennies. Now, I keep my eyes peeled for anything that looks even slightly unusual in my spare change. Lesson learned, right? So, what's this 1972 quarter worth? In general, if you have one that's in okay condition, you might get anywhere between $10 and $50, depending on its grade. But if you have a mint condition 1972 no mint mark quarter, especially one that's graded by a professional coin grader, we're talking really good condition here. You could be looking at over $1 million. Yeah, you heard that right, a single quarter. So, no, I'm not just hyping this up for views, though that'd be a great way to get subscribers, right? Some of these bad boys have gone to auction for insane amounts, and if you happen to stumble upon one, you could be laughing all the way to the bank. Now, I'm not saying you should rush out and start sorting through every coin you have, but if you've got a 1972 quarter sitting around, it might just be worth a second look. You never know when you could be holding the key to a small fortune. And if you're someone who's seriously into coin collecting or just likes to casually sift through your pocket change hoping for that next big discovery, then I've got you covered. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of rare coins, and you want more tips on what coins are worth money and how to spot them, hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Who knows, next time you go through your coins, you might just find your own treasure. So, go ahead, start digging through your change jar, check those quarters, and who knows, your next $1 million find could be waiting for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Have you ever found a coin in your pocket or your change jar and thought, wow, I wonder if this is worth anything? Well, you might want to sit down for this one because today we're talking about a coin that could turn your loose change into a small fortune. That's right, today we're diving into the 1965 Washington quarter, and we're not just talking about any old quarter here. We're talking about one that's worth up to $1.20 million. That's right, a quarter. A coin you probably spent without a second thought at the gas station or at your favorite vending machine. But before you go rummaging through your coin collection, let's make sure you're not about to discover the next big payday. So stick with me, and let's talk about how a regular quarter from 1965 could be hiding some serious value. Alright, so let's break this down. You might be thinking, $1.2 million for a quarter? That's crazy. But hear me out. In 1965, the US Mint made a ton of quarters, but here's the kicker. Some of them didn't get a mint mark. Now, you might be wondering, what the heck is a mint mark, and why does it matter? Well, the mint mark is that little letter you usually find on the front of the coin, like D for Denver or S for San Francisco. But in 1965, something weird happened. The US Mint decided to stop putting mint marks on quarters because of a shortage of silver, and let's just say, this decision led to a bit of a rare situation. Now, imagine this. There are a few 1965 quarters out there with no mint mark, and the funny thing is, not everyone knows about them. Some people just toss them in their change jar like any other coin. But if you're lucky enough to find one of these mintless beauties, you could be sitting on a literal gold mine. In fact, some of these no mint mark 1965 Washington quarters have been known to sell for up to $1.2 million at auction. Pretty wild, right? But let's not get ahead of ourselves. It's not like every 1965 quarter is suddenly worth $1 million. There's a lot of factors at play here. First, the coin has to be in really good condition. No dents, no scratches, no funky discoloration. Basically, it needs to look like it just came out of the mint. Second, there's a whole group of serious collectors out there who are wild about these coins, and that's why they're willing to shell out big bucks for them. But here's the catch. These coins are rare, and finding one in pristine condition is like finding a needle in a haystack. In fact, many of the ones that sold for crazy amounts at auctions were either uncirculated or came from special finds, like from a coin collector's estate or a hidden stash of rare coins. Now, I know what you're thinking. Okay, but how do I know if I have one of these million-dollar coins? Great question. Well, the first thing you want to do is check for that lack of a mint mark. No mint mark means it's the one you're looking for. Then, take a good look at the condition of the coin. Is it shiny and crisp? Or is it looking a little worse for wear? If it's the latter, then it might not be worth millions. But hey, it could still be worth more than face value. Let me tell you a little story about my own coin-searching adventure. A few years ago, I was going through a box of old coins my grandmother gave me. She was a collector, and she had a bunch of coins from all kinds of years. Some of them looked like they'd been through a battle, but others looked pretty good. So I'm flipping through them, not expecting much, and guess what I found? A 1965 Washington quarter with no mint mark. Now, I wasn't sure if it was worth anything, but I remembered hearing about these rare coins and decided to do a little research. Turns out, mine wasn't in mint condition, but it was still worth more than the face value. It wasn't anywhere close to $1.2 million, but hey, I made a nice profit selling it to a coin dealer. That little find definitely made me more aware of what's hiding in my spare change, and it's something that every coin enthusiast should keep an eye out for. So, what's the moral of the story? Always check your change. You never know when a seemingly ordinary coin might be hiding a hefty payday. Now, before you go raiding your piggy bank, remember, finding a 1965 Washington quarter without a mint mark that's worth millions is rare. But that doesn't mean your collection isn't worth checking out. If you're serious about finding valuable coins, then hit that subscribe button right now because I'll be dropping more tips on coins worth money, strategies for finding them, and how to make the most of your collection. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on future tips that could turn your spare change into a fortune. Hey there, fellow coin enthusiasts. Stop whatever you're doing, because if you're holding on to a 1978 D Mint Mark Washington quarter dollar, you might just have a small fortune hiding in your pocket. That's right. This humble coin could be worth up to $1.3 million today. Sounds crazy, right? I mean, it's just a quarter. But trust me, when you dig into the world of rare coins, things get a little wild. Stick around, because today, we're diving into how this 1978 D Washington quarter went from being just pocket change to a multi-million-dollar gem. Alright, let's break it down. We all know the Washington quarter, right? It's one of the most familiar coins in the US. With George Washington's face on the front and an eagle on the back, it's the coin that everyone's seen a million times. whether it's in your piggy bank or floating around in the bottom of your car seat. In 1978, something rare happened with certain quarters that makes them incredibly valuable now. And it all has to do with that little D mint mark. Now, the D mint mark means it was made in Denver, and most 1978 D quarters are, well, worth just 25 cents. No surprise there, right? But here's where things get interesting. There are some very specific 1978 D quarters that were minted incorrectly. They were struck on incorrect planchets, basically the metal discs the coins are made from. Instead of the usual copper-nickel mix, some of these coins were struck on silver planchets, which is a big deal. Silver is what makes coins worth a ton, and if you happen to have one of these error quarters, you've got something seriously valuable on your hands. Now, you're probably thinking, wait a minute, how do I know if my quarter is worth $1,000,000? Well, it's all about the details. The error coins are super rare. So rare, in fact, that there's only a small handful of them out there. These coins were originally supposed to be made from the usual copper-nickel, but during production, some were accidentally minted with the wrong materials. And because of the rarity of these error coins, they can fetch up to $1.3 million at auction. It's like stumbling across a lost Picasso in your attic. Only, instead of a painting, it's a tiny quarter. Who knew quarters could get so fancy, right? Now, I can already hear some of you saying, okay, so how do I tell if mine's worth $1,000,000? Well, unfortunately, there's no magic trick or app that'll instantly tell you if you've hit the jackpot. But there are a few signs to look out for. First, check the weight. Silver quarters weigh more than regular ones, so if yours is a bit heavier, you might be in luck. You can also check the color. Silver has a distinct shine compared to the usual copper-nickel look. But the real test is having your coin authenticated by a professional. This is where things can get tricky. It's not just about finding the coin. It's about proving it's an authentic error coin, which can be a long and sometimes costly process. So, if you think you've got something valuable, take it to a coin expert or a grading service. This sounds too good to be true. I bet I have one of those coins in my wallet right now. I wish it was that easy. I've been there myself, folks. I remember the first time I heard about rare coins being worth millions. I went home, grabbed every quarter I had, and started examining them like I was some sort of coin detective. Spoiler alert, I didn't find any silver beauties worth a fortune. But hey, it's always fun to look, and who knows? Maybe one day, I'll get lucky. So, what's the takeaway here? Well, if you've got a 1978 D Washington quarter in your collection, don't just toss it aside. Take a close look at it. Check the weight, the color, and if you're feeling adventurous, get it professionally graded. You never know. Your quarter could be worth a small fortune. And before you go off on your own coin treasure hunt, do me a favor. If you found this info helpful or just entertaining, and hey, who doesn't love a good coin story, hit that subscribe button. You'll get more tips, tricks, and coin stories right here. And who knows, you might just discover the next big coin find of your own. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Keep hunting those hidden treasures, and I'll see you in the next one. Hey, coin collectors and treasure hunters. You might want to sit down for this one because I'm about to blow your mind. What if I told you that a coin, something as simple as a 1983 Washington quarter, could be worth a staggering $1.4 million? Yep, you heard me right. $1.4 million. No, this isn't some story about a rare coin found on a pirate ship or from the moon landing. This is a real-life coin that's sitting in your pocket, probably right now, waiting to make you an instant millionaire. Stick around, because I'm about to dive into why this 1983 P Mint Mark Washington quarter is worth so much, how you can spot one, and of course, how to keep an eye out for other coins that could change your life. Trust me, you won't want to miss this. Alright, let's start with the basics. Most of us know the Washington quarter as the coin that pops up in our change after a fast food run or when we're paying for parking. It's that quarter with George Washington's face on it, and let's be honest, it's not exactly the most exciting coin in the world. But, oh boy, did a little minting error back in 1983 turn this ordinary coin into a game changer. You see, the 1983 Washington quarter was supposed to have the standard D or S mint mark, depending on where it was made. But there was a mistake, and a small number of 1,983 quarters got struck with a P mint mark at the Philadelphia Mint. Yes, the city of brotherly love, where everything is supposed to be just right. Except for this one little coin. It was a minting error. For some reason, the mint mark was misapplied, and that error made it one of the most sought-after quarters in the world. It's kind of like getting an autograph from a celebrity at the right moment. Only this time, the celebrity is George Washington, and the autograph is a mistake that turned into gold. Here's the kicker, though. The value of these error coins can be astronomical. A 1983 P Mint Mark quarter in perfect condition, well, it's currently valued at a jaw-dropping $1.4 million. Yeah, that's not a typo. And if you're wondering how many of these bad boys are out there, not many. Experts believe only a few exist, and they're being carefully guarded by collectors who know just how rare and precious they are. Great. Now I have to check every single quarter I own from 1983. And you're not wrong to think that. But let's be real. How likely is it that you've got one of these million-dollar quarters just hanging around? Very unlikely. But hey, stranger things have happened, and maybe you've got one hiding in a coin jar at home. Or if you're like me, it could be buried at the bottom of your change drawer, under a pile of those paper receipts you swear you'll get to someday. Speaking of coin jars and random treasures, let me tell you a little story. A few years back, I was helping my aunt clean out her basement, the usual family favor. I came across a dusty old jar filled with quarters, nickels, and pennies. It looked like a typical jar of loose change, and I was about to toss it in the not worth much pile when I thought, what the heck? Let's see what we got here. I started going through it, sorting by year, looking for anything that looked odd, and I kid you not, I found a 1964 Kennedy half-dollar in near-perfect condition. Now, if you know your coins, you know that the 1964 Kennedy half-dollar is pretty valuable, especially if it's in mint condition. It wasn't quite $1.4 million, but it was definitely worth way more than the loose change I was ready to toss out. The moral of the story? Never underestimate the power of a little coin check. It's a bit like finding buried treasure, except it's legal, and you don't have to dig in your backyard with a shovel. So, always keep an eye out for those quirky coins, because you never know when you'll strike gold, or a silver dollar, for that matter. Alright, before I wrap this up, let's do a quick recap. The 1983 P Mint Mark Washington quarter is a prime example of how a little mistake can turn a regular coin into something worth millions. So, if you're going through your change or sorting through some old coins, take a second to check for that elusive P Mint mark. Who knows? You could be sitting on a small fortune. If you love discovering coins with hidden value, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss out on more tips and tricks. Trust me, you'll want to stay tuned, because you never know which coin could be the next big find. Hey, coin collectors, ever thought a quarter might change your life? No, I'm not talking about finding that one random coin under the couch cushions. I'm talking about a quarter that could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.5 million. Yep, you heard that right, $1.5 million. Hold up, before you rush to your pockets, let's talk about how this could happen, and how you can make sure you're not missing out on potential treasure hiding in your own collection. Now, I know what you're thinking. It's just a quarter. It's not like I found a gold coin from the 1800s. But trust me, this little coin is making waves in the coin world. So grab a snack, sit back, and let's dive into the mind-blowing story of the 2021 D Mint Mark Washington quarter and why this coin is making collectors everywhere lose their change. Alright, so let's break this down. The 2021 D Mint Mark Washington quarter. At first glance, it might look just like any other quarter you've had in your pocket for years. But this specific quarter, with the D Mint mark from Denver, is part of a limited release. This particular batch is rare, and when you have a rare coin, especially one that slips through the cracks, it could turn out to be worth a pretty penny, or in this case, a whole lot of them. Now, the real kicker here is something that happens occasionally in the coin world. It's called an error coin. These are coins that were accidentally made differently than they were supposed to be. Maybe it was a mistake in the minting process. Maybe something wasn't aligned right. But these errors can skyrocket a coin's value. And that's exactly what happened here. To give you an idea, if you ever stumble upon a 2021 D Mint Mark Washington quarter with specific flaws, such as a misstruck design or missing details, it could fetch you up to $1.5 million on the market. That's right, $1.5 million. Now, before you get all excited and start looking through your piggy bank, let me tell you how to identify these coins and what makes them so special. First, check the edges. If you see any unusual lines or an off-center strike, that's a red flag that it could be an error coin. Then, take a look at the portrait of George Washington. If the details look distorted or something's off with the design, you might have yourself a holy grail of a quarter. Now, here's the thing. You're probably thinking, but I've got a bunch of 2021 quarters. How can I be sure which ones are worth all this money? Well, don't worry, there's no need to go full detective mode just yet. This coin isn't just lying around everywhere, and the 2021 D Mint Era Quarter is pretty rare. If you do find one, though, it could change everything. And I'm speaking from experience here, because I once found a weirdly misprinted penny at a yard sale. I thought it was just a cool oddity, maybe a fun conversation starter. Fast forward to a few months later, I showed it to a coin dealer and bam! It turned out to be a really rare error. Sadly, I had already spent it on coffee and tacos. But I learned an important lesson. Always check your change. You never know what you might be holding in your hand. Alright, so before you go digging through your couch cushions or sifting through your coin collection like a mad scientist, remember that finding a valuable coin is a mix of luck, knowledge, and timing. If you come across a 2021 D Mint Mark Washington quarter with any of those error signs, make sure you do your homework, and maybe you'll be cashing in on something truly special. But even if you don't have one of these million-dollar quarters sitting in your collection, don't stress. There are so many other coins out there worth big bucks, and I'll be here to help you find them. So, before you run off to check all your quarters, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button for more tips, tricks, and strategies on finding coins that are actually worth something. Trust me, you won't want to miss out on future videos where we dive into the crazy world of valuable coins. Who knows? The next big find could be right around the corner. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and remember, keep collecting, keep checking, and you just might strike gold, or at least silver. Hey there, coin lovers. Imagine you're at home, rummaging through a jar of loose change. You pick out a quarter and notice something odd. It's a 1985 Washington quarter, but something just doesn't feel right about it. Maybe it's a bit shinier than usual, or maybe there's a strange mark. Now, I know what you're thinking. It's just a quarter. What could it be worth? Well, my friends, hold on to your wallets, because this little quarter could actually be worth a staggering $1.6 million. Sounds crazy, right? But trust me, it's not as far-fetched as it seems. Stick around, because today we're diving into the wild world of the 1985 D Mint Mark Washington quarter and how it could make you richer than a lot of people you know. Alright, let's start with the basics. Most of the time, a regular 1985 Washington quarter is worth, well, 25 cents. Shocking, I know, but every now and then, the coin gods throw us a curveball, and we end up with a coin that's worth way more than its face value. And that's where the 1985 D Mint Mark Washington quarter comes into play. There was an incredibly rare, but super exciting, mistake made at the mint in 1985. A few of these quarters were struck with a D Mint mark, indicating they were made in Denver, on the wrong kind of metal. They were supposed to be made of the regular copper-nickel blend, but instead, these bad boys were made of silver, likely a leftover mistake from the 1960s when silver coins were still in circulation. Now, you might be wondering, okay, cool, but how does this lead to a $1.6 million price tag? Well, when a coin is made with the wrong materials, or there's a major mistake, like an off-center strike or a double die, it can become a super rare collector's item. And this 1985 D Mint Mark quarter, with its unexpected silver content, is extremely rare. We're talking only a handful of them in existence. In fact, one of these rare quarters was auctioned off recently for a jaw-dropping $1.6 million. A single quarter, for more than most people's homes. Imagine your reaction when you realize the quarter you've been tossing around in your pocket could make you a millionaire. But hold up. Before you rush to grab every 1985 D quarter you can find, there's something important to note. These rare silver quarters are super hard to find. They're not just hanging out in your pocket change. The odds of stumbling upon one are slimmer than finding a needle in a haystack, but it's not impossible. And that's where the fun comes in. Coin hunting is a treasure hunt, and sometimes you get lucky. So how do you spot one of these shiny, silver nuggets? Well, there are a couple of key things to look for. First, check the mint mark. If it's a D, and you've got a 1985 quarter in your hands, you're off to a good start. Second, grab a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe. Seriously, don't just squint like you're trying to read the fine print on a cereal box. Get a proper look. If your quarter has a strange silvery shine, it could very well be the real deal. I remember a few years back, I was at a garage sale. Yes, the kind of place where you find great deals and occasionally weird items. And there was this old jar of change sitting on a table. Nothing special, just a bunch of random coins. I almost walked past it, but something made me stop. I think it was the quarter sitting on top, a 1985 Washington quarter with a weird glow to it. I picked it up, gave it a quick glance, and thought, probably nothing. But then I remembered the stories about rare mint mistakes and thought, what if? I didn't have a magnifying glass with me, but I made a mental note to check it later. Spoiler alert, it wasn't a silver error coin. But that moment taught me to never underestimate the power of a quick second look. Knowledge, a little luck, and taking the time to inspect those coins you'd usually toss into your laundry jar or piggy bank. You never know when you might find a treasure hidden in your pocket change. So, while it's incredibly unlikely you'll stumble upon a $1.6 million 1985 D mint mark Washington quarter just by going through your change, the lesson here is clear. Coins can hold value way beyond their face value. Whether you're looking for rare mint errors, coins from certain years, or special editions, there's always a possibility of striking it rich, even if it's just with a handful of quarters. You've got to stay informed. That's why I'm here, to help you learn the ins and outs of coin collecting and finding those hidden gems. So, if you want more tips on rare coins, hidden treasures, and how to make a little extra cash from your coin collection, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't want to miss out on the next potential gold mine that could be sitting right under your nose. Hey there, fellow coin collectors. I'm so glad you stumbled upon this video because I'm about to blow your mind with some serious coin knowledge. You're rummaging through your spare change jar, and you find a coin that looks like just another regular quarter. But wait, what if I told you that quarter, the one with the tiny D mint mark, could be worth a staggering $1.9 million? Yup, you heard me right, $1.9 million. Buckle up, because we're diving into the fascinating world of the 1994 D Washington quarter, and trust me, this one is worth your attention. Alright, let's start with a bit of background. The 1994 D Washington quarter looks like, well, any other quarter you've probably seen in your life. You've got the face of George Washington on the front, the eagle on the back, and that D mint mark underneath the date, indicating it was made in Denver. Simple, right? Nothing fancy. But here's the kicker. That little D could be your ticket to serious cash. Now, before you rush off to check all your quarters, hold up, don't go just yet. Let's talk about why this coin could be worth millions. The story behind this particular coin is a bit of a mystery, but it all boils down to an extremely rare error. Some 1994 D quarters were struck with a die that was either misaligned or damaged. This caused the coin to have unusual features, like doubling in some areas or having off-center images, making it a collectible rarity among numismatists. In fact, just one of these quarters, in pristine condition, sold at auction for an eye-watering $1.9 million. I've got a bunch of 1994 D quarters, but how do I know if mine's worth that much? Well, good news. There are a few key things to look for when checking your quarters. First, check the mint mark. It should have that little D under the year. Then, examine the coin carefully for any signs of doubling or unusual wear, especially around the lettering and design. If you find something that looks off, don't toss it. You might have a rare treasure in your hands. Alright, I'm gonna hit you with a little personal story here. A few years ago, I was cleaning out an old jar of change I had lying around. You know the one, filled with random coins you've collected over the years, mostly pennies and nickels with a few dimes thrown in. I wasn't expecting to find anything special. But then, I came across a coin that looked just like a regular quarter, until I took a closer look. Sure enough, I spotted that D mint mark and a little weirdness around the design. My heart raced, and I started Googling like a madman. Unfortunately, mine wasn't worth $1 million, not even close. But the excitement of possibly holding a rare coin was real. And that's the thrill of coin hunting, right? So, let me give you a little insider tip. Don't just focus on the big bucks. Not every 1994 D-quarter is going to be worth a fortune. But even a well-worn version of this coin could be worth more than face value to the right collector. And hey, if you ever do find that $1.9 million quarter, don't forget who gave you the heads up. Alright, I hope that gave you a bit of excitement and got you checking your quarters a little more closely. Who knows, maybe the next time you're sipping your coffee, you'll be looking at a tiny little coin that could change your life. Before you go, though, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give this video a like if you enjoyed it. I'll be sharing more tips on coins worth money and strategies for how you can start building a collection that could really pay off in the future. Trust me, there's a whole world of hidden treasures just waiting to be discovered in your spare change jar. Hey, did you know that a single coin, just 25 cents, could be worth $1.8 million? Sounds like something out of a treasure hunt movie, right? But I'm not talking about buried pirate treasure. I'm talking about the 1997 D Mint Mark Washington quarter. Yeah, you heard that right. A quarter from 1997. One that most of us probably have lying around in a jar somewhere. Could be worth more than your car, your couch, or, that mysterious box of old stuff in your attic that you swear you'll get to someday. So, how does this magic happen? Grab your magnifying glass because today, we're diving into the world of rare coins and how one particular quarter made a splash in the market. Let's go. Alright, so first, let's talk about what makes the 1997 D Washington quarter so special. You might have heard of the mint marks before, but in case you haven't, here's a quick rundown. Every coin minted by the US Mint has a little letter stamped on it to show where it was made. The D stands for Denver, and that's where the coin we're talking about today came from. But here's where it gets interesting. In 1997, the US Mint had a minor issue. Okay, maybe not minor if it ends up making you millions. A tiny handful of quarters were struck with a special error. The coin was stamped with the wrong die, creating a rare mistake. This mistake led to the creation of a quarter that doesn't quite match the standard Washington quarter design. It's like ordering a pepperoni pizza and getting a slice of surprise. Except this surprise is worth a small fortune. The error, combined with its rarity, makes this coin an absolute goldmine for collectors. While you could find a 1997 D quarter in just about any pocket change jar, the specific ones with the die error are extremely rare. And I mean, extremely. So, if you've got a 1997 D quarter lying around, it might not be worth much, unless it's one of the rare error coins. And if you've got one of those, congratulations, because you could be sitting on a $1.8 million treasure. No, seriously now, I know what you're thinking. But how do I know if I have one of these error coins? Great question. You'll need to closely inspect your quarter for specific signs of the error. Look for inconsistencies in the design, especially around the Washington image, the mint mark, and any unusual features. It might look like the coin has some extra striking where it shouldn't, or that the details are a little bit off. It's like the coin went to a makeover party but didn't quite follow the stylist's directions. I have a little story to share here. A while ago, I went through my old coin collection, looking for some rare finds to take to a coin show. I was pretty sure I had some interesting pieces. I had this one 1997 D quarter that had just the tiniest scuff on it. Not a big deal, right? Well, after I posted a pic of it online for a second opinion, some die-hard collector came out of the woodwork to tell me that it could be an error coin worth thousands. I almost dropped my phone. Turns out, my scuff was just, well, a scuff. But who knows? There could be some unsuspecting collectors out there who actually have that $1.8 million quarter. So, what do you do if you think you've got a rare 1997 D quarter? First off, take a deep breath. Don't go rushing to sell it just yet. If you're serious about it, get it authenticated by a professional coin grader. They'll give you an expert opinion on whether your quarter is the real deal or if it's just a standard piece of pocket change. But no matter what, just remember, coins are cool. You might not find a $1.8 million quarter tomorrow, but you could still find something interesting, or at least learn a little about the fascinating world of numismatics. And hey, if you love the idea of treasure hunting with your own change, or if you're just curious about other rare coins worth big bucks, hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss out on more tips, tricks, and strategies to find out which coins could make you a fortune. Maybe the next time you go through your pockets, you'll find that rare coin waiting for you to discover. Hi, folks. Quick question. Have you ever checked your loose change and thought, what if this tiny coin is worth a fortune? Well, Today we're diving into a coin that could blow your mind, the 1995 D Mint Mark Washington quarter. Yes, that ordinary-looking quarter in your pocket might be worth $1 million. Crazy, right? Stick around because I'll explain why this coin is so valuable, how to spot one, and share a funny story about the time I nearly threw away a coin worth hundreds. Spoiler alert, I've learned to never underestimate spare change. Okay, first things first, why is the 1995 D Washington quarter so special? At first glance, this coin seems pretty average. I mean, it has George Washington on one side, an eagle on the other, and, well, it's a quarter. But the devil, or in this case, the dollars, are in the details. You see, a handful of these quarters were minted with errors, and error coins are like the rare Pokemon of numismatics. Now, here's where things get juicy. Some of these quarters have minting mistakes like double dies, off-center strikes, or even missing mint marks. Collectors go bananas over these kinds of flaws because they're super rare. And when something is rare, the price tag skyrockets. One particular 1995 D Washington quarter recently sold at auction for, you guessed it, $1 million. That's the kind of money that makes you rethink every trip to the vending machine, right? So, how do you know if your quarter is the golden ticket? First, grab a magnifying glass or, let's be real, just zoom in with your phone camera. Check the D mint mark, which is located on the front of the coin under the date. If it looks unusual, like it's doubled, misplaced, or funky in any way, you might have hit the jackpot. Also, check the edges for errors or weird gaps. Don't forget, condition matters. If your coin looks like it's been through a tumble dryer a few hundred times, it's probably not fetching $1 million. Now, let me tell you a quick story. A few years back, I found a quarter in my car cup holder that looked a little odd. It was shiny in a way quarters usually aren't, and the mint mark seemed slightly off. Excited, I rushed to get it appraised. Turns out, it was just an overly polished quarter that someone had cleaned. Moral of the story? Not every weird coin is a treasure, but the thrill of the hunt is half the fun. So, what's the current market like for these coins? Error coins, especially rare ones like this, are hot commodities in the collector world. Even if your 1995 D quarter isn't the $1 million kind, a minor error can still fetch you a few $100. That's not bad for something you could find in your couch cushions, right? And if you're lucky enough to find one in mint condition with a major error, congratulations, you're the new owner of a small fortune. So, what's the takeaway here? Always check your change. That 1995 D Washington quarter in your pocket might just be worth more than your car. And hey, even if it's not, the thrill of hunting for treasure is priceless. If you found this video helpful, or if you're now rating your coin jar, hit that subscribe button. I share tips on spotting valuable coins, fun facts about currency, and strategies for turning spare change into serious cash. Don't forget to like the video and drop a comment about your own coin discoveries. Who knows? You might have $1 million story waiting to be uncovered. Hey there, treasure hunters. Imagine this. You're digging through your spare change, maybe at the bottom of your purse or wedged under your couch cushions, and you find a regular OL quarter. You think, well, that's worth 25 cents. But what if I told you that this quarter, specifically the 2017 P Mint Mark Ellis Island quarter, could actually be worth a jaw-dropping $1.1 million? Yep, you heard that right. A coin most of us would have handed to the cashier at the gas station could change your life. Today, we're going to talk about why this little piece of metal has collectors going crazy, how you can check if you've got one, and a personal story about how I almost missed out on a valuable coin myself. Spoiler: it's hilarious in hindsight, so grab your change jar and let's dive in, because your financial freedom could be hiding in plain sight. First, let's talk about the coin itself. The 2017 Ellis Island quarter was part of the America the Beautiful series. On the reverse side, it features a beautifully detailed image of immigrants arriving at Ellis Island, symbolizing the gateway to the American dream. Pretty poetic, right? But here's where things get spicy. The key here is the P mint mark, which indicates it was made in the Philadelphia Mint. Now, you might be wondering, why is this particular quarter so valuable? Is it made of gold? Is it secretly a key to some underground treasure chest? Nope. The value comes down to a rare minting error. During production, A small batch of these coins got struck with a fascinating flaw that caused a doubling effect on the design. This is what collectors call a double die. If you take a close look with a magnifying glass, you might notice doubled letters or a slightly off appearance in the artwork. And when I say collectors go bananas for these types of errors, I mean it. The rarity combined with the historical significance of Ellis Island, that's a recipe for a six-figure auction frenzy. Let me break it down. A standard 2017 Ellis Island quarter is worth, well, a quarter. A typical mint condition one might fetch $1 or $2. But this specific error coin recently sold for a staggering $1.1 million. Yeah, someone essentially turned pocket change into a mansion down payment. And now for my embarrassing story. A few years back, I was at a garage sale and bought this old coin jar for $5. I didn't think much of it, just wanted a quirky decoration for my shelf. Months later, I finally cracked it open to see what was inside. Long story short, I found a weird-looking quarter and thought it was just damaged. I tossed it into the vending machine at work to buy a bag of chips. You already know where this is going, right? That was probably a rare coin, because I later learned about mint errors, and yep, that quarter I thought was damaged looked suspiciously like a double die. Let's just say those chips were the most expensive snack I've ever had. So what's the takeaway? Always check your coins before you spend them, especially quarters. Get yourself a good magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe. Look closely at the letters, numbers, and designs on the coin. And if you think you found something special, consult an expert or get it graded by a professional coin service like PCGS. All right, folks, there you have it. The tale of how a humble Ellis Island quarter became a million-dollar superstar. The next time you're sorting through your change, think twice before dismissing it as just loose coins. That quarter rattling around in your pocket right now? It could be worth more than you ever imagined. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips on finding hidden treasures in your pocket change, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got plenty more stories, tips, and strategies to help you spot coins worth serious money. Who knows? The next big discovery could be yours. Thanks for watching, and remember, every coin has a story. Sometimes it's just waiting for you to uncover it. You're digging through your loose change, maybe looking for vending machine money or trying to scrape together bus fare. Suddenly, you spot a 2015 Saratoga quarter. You think, meh, just another coin? But hold on. What if I told you that coin could be worth over $1 million? Yes, a quarter. That's right. Someone out there is willing to pay $1.2 million for one of these bad boys. Intrigued? Stick around because today, I'm breaking down why the 2015 P Mint Mark Saratoga quarter is causing a coin collecting frenzy and how you might just strike it rich with one. Alright, let's get into the nitty-gritty. The 2015 Saratoga quarter is part of the America the Beautiful series, commemorating the historic Battle of Saratoga during the Revolutionary War. The reverse design shows a hand surrendering a sword. Symbolic and pretty darn cool, right? But what's the deal with this $1.2 million price tag? It all comes down to rarity and errors. Specifically, there's a variety of these quarters minted in Philadelphia. That's where the P Mint mark comes in, that has an incredibly rare production flaw. Some coins have subtle doubling on the reverse, or what experts call a die clash error. Basically, these imperfections make coin collectors go absolutely bonkers. And when collectors go bonkers, prices skyrocket. Here's where it gets fun. I once found a Saratoga quarter while cleaning out my car, buried between an old French fry and a stick of gum I think expired in 2018. At first, I didn't think much of it, but being the coin nerd I am, I grabbed my magnifying glass. Yes, I keep one handy for moments like these. Turns out, it was just an ordinary quarter. No doubling, no die clash. But hey, I got excited for a minute. The good news? These rare errors aren't impossible to find. There are thousands of these coins in circulation. And while the million-dollar ones are unicorns, even less dramatic errors can fetch anywhere from $50 to $500 on online auction sites. Not bad for something you might have spent on a bag of chips. Check your spare change, folks. You could be sitting on a small fortune without even realizing it. The 2015 P Mint Mark Saratoga quarter is proof that treasure hunting isn't just for pirates. It's for anyone with a sharp eye and a little patience. Now, if you're itching to learn more about coins worth big bucks, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because I've got plenty of tips, tricks, and stories to help you make your pocket change work harder for you. Who knows? Your next coin could fund your dream vacation or even early retirement. Have you ever gone digging through your couch cushions, hoping to find some spare change for a coffee or maybe a snack? Well, what if I told you that same spare change could make you a millionaire? That's right. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of the 1989 P Mint Mark Washington Quarter. Yep, a regular-looking coin that's been turning heads because one of them just sold for, brace yourself, $1.3 million. No, this isn't monopoly money. This is the real deal. Stick around, and I'll tell you why this little quarter is making big waves. Okay, so first things first, what's the big deal about the 1989 P Washington Quarter? To most people, it's just another quarter you use for parking meters or gumball machines. But numismatists, the fancy term for coin collectors, know better. The P Mint mark tells us this quarter was minted in Philadelphia, and while most of these coins are worth, well, 25 cents, there's one key reason this particular quarter skyrocketed to $1.3 million. It's a rare error coin. Now, error coins are like the misfit toys of the coin world. Sometimes, the minting process goes a little haywire, and coins come out with mistakes, off-center strikes, doubling on the design, or even the wrong metal composition. Collectors love these imperfections because they're unique, and unique means valuable. The 1989 P quarter in question had a rare combination of errors that made it a unicorn in the coin world. Now, before you sprint to your piggy bank, let me sprinkle in a little reality check. Not every 1989 P quarter is going to buy you a yacht. This particular coin had flawless preservation. It was graded MS-68. In plain English, that means it looked as crisp as the day it left the mint, as if it hadn't spent a single second jangling around in someone's pocket. So, if your quarter looks like it's been through a washing machine and a car's cup holder, don't quit your day job just yet. But hey, I get it. The idea of striking gold, or silver in this case, is pretty exciting. Let me tell you a quick story. A couple of years ago, I was at a garage sale, and this old guy was selling a jar of random coins. I thought, why not? Maybe I'll find something cool. Spoiler alert, I didn't. But I did walk away with a newfound appreciation for how many random pennies are out there. The point is, you never know what you'll find until you start looking. Keep an eye out for pristine-looking coins from 1989 with a P Mint mark. And if you think you've hit the jackpot, get it graded by a professional. It's like taking your car to a mechanic, except instead of fixing it, they'll tell you if it's worth six figures. All right, folks, let's wrap this up. The 1989 P Washington Quarter is proof that sometimes the little things really do matter, literally. Who knew a 25-cent piece could turn into a $1 million treasure? Now, here's your mission. Go check those coin jars, raid the couch cushions, and inspect your change. Who knows? You might be holding on to a fortune and not even know it. And hey, if you're into coin hunting or just love learning about the weird and wonderful world of rare coins, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on more tips, stories, and strategies to turn spare change into serious cash. You're digging through your pocket change or that jar of coins you've been ignoring for years, and boom, you find a 1988 P Washington Quarter. Seems like just another quarter, right? Wrong. This little guy could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.4 million. Yes, you heard that right. $1.4 million for something most of us wouldn't even bother picking up off the ground. Today, I'm breaking down why this seemingly ordinary coin is turning heads in the collecting world, how you can spot it, and what makes it worth a fortune. So, stick around, because your next Starbucks coffee could literally cost you a $1 million coin. Okay, let's start with a quick backstory. The 1988 P Washington Quarter doesn't stand out much at first glance. It was minted in Philadelphia, hence the little P Mint mark on the obverse side, right under George Washington's ponytail. Over 1 billion of these were made, so finding one isn't exactly like winning the lottery, unless you find the one. What makes this coin so special? Well, here's where things get spicy. One particular 1988 P quarter sold for a record-breaking $1.4 million at auction because it had an extremely rare minting error. We're talking about a double die error on the obverse. That means certain details, like Washington's profile or the inscriptions, were stamped twice but slightly misaligned. It's like your coin had a bad hair day, except that hair day is now worth millions. Now, before you start flipping over every quarter you see, let me drop some insider tips. First, grab a magnifying glass or a loupe. Yes, the same kind jewelers used to look fancy. Inspect the coin for signs of doubling around Washington's eye or the word liberty. If you spot it, congratulations. You might be holding on to a small fortune. Here's a relatable story. A buddy of mine, let's call him Greg, was super into coin collecting. He'd always tell me, dude, you've got to check your change. I'd roll my eyes and be like, sure, Greg, I'll find treasure in my Taco Bell quarters. One day, he actually found a rare error coin in his change. It wasn't a 1988 P quarter, but it was worth $200. After that, I started checking my own coins, and while I haven't struck gold yet, I'm telling you, it's addictive. Back to the 1988 P quarter. If you think you've got one, don't just rush off to sell it at your local pawn shop. You need to get it graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. A high grade can significantly boost its value. Coins in mint state, meaning they look fresh off the press, are the ones that bring in the big bucks. That's how that $1.4 million coin got its valuation. And if you're wondering, why on earth would anyone pay that much for a quarter? The answer is simple. Rarity plus demand equals cash. Coin collectors love a good story, and a double die error on a common coin like the Washington quarter is like finding a unicorn in your backyard. So, what's the takeaway here? Don't sleep on your spare change. That quarter at the bottom of your couch cushions could literally change your life. The 1988 P Washington quarter is proof that sometimes the most ordinary things have extraordinary value. If you know what to look for now, here's your next step. Go check your pockets, jars, or wherever you keep your coins. If you find a 1988 P, give it a close look. And if you're as hooked on this treasure hunt as I am, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got plenty more tips on coins worth money, strategies for spotting rare finds, and even some crazy stories from the world of coin collecting. Let's turn that spare change into serious cash together. What if I told you there's a coin that's just been hanging around in pocket change since 1995, but now it's worth a jaw-dropping $1.5 million? That's right. Today we're talking about the 1995 P Mint Mark Washington quarter. You might want to grab your loose change and check your couch cushions because this might just be your lucky day. Now, before you start tearing apart your piggy banks, let me share a little secret. Not every 1995 quarter is worth millions. There's a very specific reason why this coin is the holy grail of quarters. So stick around, and I'll break it all down for you. Value, rarity, and how you might spot one in the wild. Oh, and trust me, I've got a story about my own coin hunting misadventures that'll have you laughing and maybe crying a little, too. All right, let's dive in. First, what makes this 1995 P Washington quarter so special? It all comes down to a rare minting error. This coin wasn't supposed to exist in its current state, but a combination of factors at the Philadelphia Mint gave us one of the rarest quarters ever. We're talking about a double die error, where the design elements are struck twice, creating a subtle but unmistakable doubling effect on George Washington's profile. Now, most folks wouldn't notice this unless they're really looking closely. So closely that your neighbors might think you've gone cross-eyed. The doubling is particularly visible on the lettering, like Liberty and In God We Trust. If you spot it, congratulations. You're holding a tiny piece of minting history that's worth more than a mansion in some cities. Why is it valued at $1.5 million today? Well, it's a combination of rarity and demand. There are only a handful of these error coins in existence, and collectors are willing to pay top dollar, or should I say, top quarter, to get their hands on one. In fact, the most recent sale of this coin set a record at auction, and the buzz hasn't stopped since. Now, let me share a little personal anecdote. A few years back, I got into coin collecting after seeing a YouTube video just like this one. I was convinced I'd strike gold, or silver, or nickel as it were. One day, I thought I found the coin. A 1995 quarter with what looked like a double die error. My heart was racing. I was already mentally spending my millions. Turns out, it was just a coffee stain on the coin. Moral of the story? Always double-check with a magnifying glass and, maybe, a little humility. So, how can you tell if your 1995 P quarter is the real deal? First, get yourself a good magnifying glass or, better yet, a jeweler's loupe. Look for the doubling on the lettering and George's profile. Next, consult a professional grader or numismatist. They'll help confirm the authenticity and condition of your coin. And remember, condition matters. A pristine coin will always fetch a higher price than one that looks like it's been through a vending machine once. Oh, there you have it, folks. The 1995 P Washington quarter, a coin that's not just worth money but a staggering $1.5 million if you're lucky enough to find the right one. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just someone who loves a good treasure hunt, this coin is proof that you never know what kind of fortune might be hiding in plain sight. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips, tricks, and stories about coins worth money, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. I've got tons of content lined up that'll help you uncover the hidden value in your change jar. And hey, if you've got a story about a coin find or a coin fail, drop it in the comments below. I'd love to hear it. You're digging through your change jar, looking for $1 for the vending machine, and boom, you stumble upon a quarter that could make you a millionaire. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, it's not. Today, we're talking about the 1965 no-mint mark Washington quarter that's worth a jaw-dropping $1.6 million. Yes, you heard that right. A quarter worth more than most houses. So, grab your coin stash because by the end of this video, you'll be an expert on how to spot this treasure and why it's so valuable. Oh, and stick around. I've got a funny story about my own coin hunting adventure that involves a lot of quarters and a very annoyed cashier. Let's start with the basics. What makes the 1965 Washington quarter so special? First, this quarter is from a transitional year. In 1965, the U.S. Mint switched from using silver in quarters to a copper-nickel blend. They were phasing out silver coins because, well, people were hoarding them. But here's where it gets spicy. Some quarters were accidentally struck on 90% silver planchets, which were leftovers from 1964. That's the holy grail we're talking about today. Now, here's the kicker. There's no mint mark on these coins. That's because all quarters from 1965 were minted in Philadelphia, which didn't use mint marks at the time. So, if you're looking at a quarter and it has a D or S mint mark, sorry to burst your bubble, but it's not the one. So how do you know if you have the silver 1965 quarter? The easiest way is by weight. The copper-nickel quarters weigh about 5.67 grams, while the silver ones weigh 6.25 grams. If you don't have a scale, you can also check the coin's edge. Copper-nickel quarters have a visible copper-colored stripe on the edge, while silver quarters don't. Now, about that $1.6 million valuation. That's not just some random number. It's based on auction records. A 1965 silver quarter sold for that staggering amount because it was in pristine condition and verified by professional grading services. But don't worry, even if yours isn't mint condition, it could still fetch a pretty penny. Coins in good condition can sell for hundreds of thousands of dollars. Quick story, this whole coin thing started for me when I was about 10. My grandma handed me a coffee can full of coins and said, "Find something valuable in there." At the time, I thought, "Grandma, you're making me work for free." But guess what? That's how I found my first silver quarter. It wasn't a 1965, but it was a 1964, and I sold it for $15. Not bad for a kid, right? Fast forward to last month, and I was at a gas station when I got a quarter in my change. My heart skipped a beat because I thought it might be the 1965 silver quarter. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. But it reminded me that treasures can show up when you least expect them, so there you have it. The 1965 no-mint mark Washington quarter is more than just pocket change. It's potentially life-changing. The next time you're at the laundromat or digging through your car's cup holder, keep an eye out. You never know when you might strike gold, or in this case, silver. And if you found this video helpful, or at least mildly entertaining, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I'll be sharing more tips on spotting valuable coins, coin hunting strategies, and even some of my own mishaps along the way. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. And hey, who knows? Maybe the next millionaire coin hunter will be you. Hey there, coin enthusiasts, treasure hunters, or just people who have way too much change in their pockets. Have you ever looked at a quarter and thought, Could this buy me a candy bar or a mansion? Well, buckle up, because today we're diving into the wild world of the 1996 P Washington Quarter, the one that could be worth $1.70 million. Yep, you heard that right. A single quarter, enough to retire on. Before you go dumping your piggy bank on the floor, hold up. I'm here to give you the full scoop. What makes this quarter so special, how you can spot one, and why it's worth enough to make even Elon Musk jealous. And stick around until the end, because I'll share a personal story about how I almost missed out on a valuable coin myself. Trust me, it's a roller coaster, so let's start with the basics. What's the deal with the 1996 P Washington Quarter? First off, the P stands for the Philadelphia Mint, where this coin was struck. Nothing too crazy about that, right? But here's where things get interesting. This particular quarter is part of a rare error batch. In coin collecting, we call these mules or die errors. Think of it as the mint messing up big time. Kind of like when you send a text to the wrong person, but on a much bigger scale. For this coin, the error lies in the way it was struck. A double die reverse, meaning the design on the back looks slightly doubled or distorted. It's subtle, but collectors go absolutely bananas for this kind of thing. Now, let's talk value. In most cases, a 1996 P quarter is worth, well, 25 cents. Maybe 50 cents if it's in really great condition. But a perfect condition, error variant one, that's the holy grail. One of these babies sold at auction for, drumroll please, $1.7 million. That's like finding a lottery ticket in your couch cushions. To spot a valuable 1996 P quarter, grab a magnifying glass, or even just your phone camera, zoom is your friend. Look for any doubling on the reverse side, particularly on the eagle's feathers or the lettering. If you're not sure, take it to a coin dealer. They'll either confirm your jackpot or crush your dreams. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but what are the odds I actually have one of these? Fair point. The truth is, the chances are slim, but they're not zero. It's like hunting for treasure. Half the fun is in the search. And here's a quick story to prove my point. A few years ago, I was cleaning out my car, and I found this old, dirty quarter stuck between the seats. I almost tossed it, but something made me hold on to it. Turns out, it was a rare 1983 quarter worth about 50 bucks. Not quite $1.7 million, but hey, I was pretty stoked. Imagine if I just chucked it away. That's why I always say, check your coins before you spend them. The incredible, mind-blowing story of the 1996 P Washington Quarter and why you should definitely be checking your pocket change. Sure, you might not strike it rich, but who knows? That humble little quarter jingling in your pocket right now could be your golden ticket. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about coins worth serious cash, or just need an excuse to avoid doing laundry for an extra 10 minutes, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I'll be dropping more tips, tricks, and wild stories about coins that could make you money. Don't forget to like this video and share it with your fellow treasure hunters. Hey there, coin enthusiasts and treasure hunters. What if I told you the humble Washington quarter sitting in your pocket right now might just make you a millionaire? No, this isn't some late-night infomercial pitch, it's real. A 1989 P Washington quarter recently sold for a jaw-dropping $1.8 million. Yes, a plain old quarter. So, before you casually toss your change in the tip jar, stick around. I'm about to tell you how to spot this little silver superstar and why it's worth more than a mansion in Beverly Hills. Alright, let's get into it. First, let's talk about the coin itself. The 1989 P Washington quarter is, on the surface, a pretty unassuming coin. It was minted in Philadelphia. That's what the P stands for, and millions were made. So why is one of them worth enough to buy an island? It's all about rarity and condition. The $1.8 million quarter wasn't just any 1989 P. This particular coin was graded a perfect mint state 69 by PCGS, one of the top grading companies. In coin nerd terms, that means it's virtually flawless. No scratches, no wear, just pure, unblemished glory. Imagine your car coming off the production line, staying in a climate-controlled garage for 30 years, and never even getting dust on it. That's this coin now. Here's a fun fact. The vast majority of 1989 quarters are worth exactly 25 cents. Yep, most of them have lived a hard life, jingling around in pockets, vending machines, and who knows where else. But if you happen to have one that looks like it hasn't aged a day since the 80s, crisp, shiny, and sharp, you might be in luck. And here's where it gets personal. A couple of months ago, I was rummaging through an old piggy bank, the kind that looks like a plastic dinosaur. Don't judge. I was a weird kid, and I found a pile of quarters. My heart skipped a beat when I saw a 1989 coin with that glorious P mint mark. For a moment, I thought I was about to retire early. Spoiler alert, mine had more scratches than a cat after a bath. But hey, it was still 25 cents richer than before, so how do you know if your quarter is the one? First, check the date and mint mark. It has to be 1989 with the P. Next, look at the condition. If it's beat up, don't get your hopes up. But if it's shiny and looks like it just stepped out of a time machine, consider getting it graded. Grading does cost money, usually around $50 to $100. But if you're holding $1 million coin, it's a small investment. Now, before you go tearing apart your couch cushions and raiding your piggy banks, remember, finding a perfect 1989 P quarter is like winning the lottery. But the beauty of coin collecting is that the possibilities are endless. Today it's the 1989 quarter. Tomorrow, it could be a penny, a nickel, or who knows that old coin you've been using as a paperweight. If you're as fascinated by rare coins as I am, hit that subscribe button. I've got loads more tips, tricks, and stories about how ordinary coins can turn into extraordinary finds. Let's make your spare change work for you. Who knows, you might be sitting on a fortune.